And away we go. It's just me at the moment. Not sure if Risk or Eric are going to join. It's been a while actually, as of this recording, that Risk and or Eric have appeared on a podcast episode, either for the Aloneness Show or the Opinionistics. I'm starting to wonder if they may not come back. I'm wondering. I'm not saying it's true. However, the last few times they appeared, it was not pretty. It was quite ugly. I don't blame them in the slightest. I'd be frustrated too. However, whatever happens, the show must go on. Alright then, let's see what's in the news today. There's so much to talk about, and there really is. Epstein alleges Trump knew about the girls in emails released by House Democrats. Now this is going to get exciting. Not that it should be, but it's juicy. It's the tea, you know? House Democrats made public 3 emails from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, raising questions about President Donald Trump's knowledge of Epstein's abuse. The committee obtained the emails through a subpoena to Epstein estate, part of 23,000 documents the House Oversight Committee reviews, and Democrats say the release pushes for White House disclosure. In the emails, Epstein told Ghislaine Maxwell in 2011 that a redacted victim spent hours at his house with Donald Trump, and a 2019 exchange with Michael Wolff said Trump knew about victims and asked Maxwell to stop. The timing ensured the emails would arrive hours before House Speaker Mike Johnson swears in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva, whose signature could force a House vote demanding Department of Justice files opposed by the White House. Despite denials from President Donald Trump, who has called related questions a hoax, NPR and other outlets have not independently confirmed the document's veracity, while survivors and members of Congress demand more files. The moment I heard that Representative-elect Adelita was going to be sworn in to office in the House of Representatives, I knew that more information about the Epstein files or anything Epstein related was about to come forward, because last time I've heard about this representative-elect to be sworn in, and now that Adelita has been sworn in as a new representative as part of the Democrat Party, now more information about the Epstein files are made public. Look, whilst so much more, and listen, I will not defend Donald Trump if this is all. If anything that's been said are true, if it's true, I will not defend Trump in the slightest. Yet we cannot just jump to conclusions just yet. There's more. There could be more to the files than what's been reported, either right now or a couple of years prior. There is so much. There's much more to this that a lot of people do not know. And even if there are more information after new representative-elect has been sworn in to the House of Representatives, there is yet more to be discovered. And of course, members of Congress are still demanding more files, so that just comes to show that there is much more to this story than that we already know of. So that right there is the reason why I'm not going to jump to conclusions yet. Until it is finally settled, all I can say is whoever is in the wrong, they should get punished the way they should be punished. And regardless of whatever achievements that these people have done, does not excuse the actions of people behind the scenes. That's important to know. That's very important to take note of. Separate the art from the artists. I know not a lot of people think of it as a popular saying, however it is true. And it's vitally important that, regardless of what they contributed, don't think that these are good people. And even amongst good people in this world, don't think they're all that and bag of chips. Not everything about people are black and white. There are layers to people, how they act, and what they contribute to society. So, the Epstein files. Whilst there are more information being known to the public, it's not over yet. There is more. And when we'll know more about this, we can't be too sure. However, we'll just have to wait and find out. And hopefully everything just falls into place, and once we know enough information about this, the Epstein files and the victims and so on, surely justice shall be served, as it should be. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, announced a new Netflix special called With Love, Meghan, Holiday Celebration, arriving on December 3rd, which will showcase her take on holiday celebrations. The special is an extension of a lifestyle series With Love, Meghan, which blends home self-care and entertaining. Through previous seasons, received mixed reviews. It marks the latest collaboration between Meghan and Netflix as part of the success's multi-million-dollar deal with the streaming platform. Okay? Very cool. May not be everyone's cup of tea, but good for her. Duchess of Sussex doing what she's doing, and people like it. Well, who was anyone to complain? You don't have to like it, but hey, someone's gonna make a living somehow. So, it's something. That I will say, it's something. Coffee might reduce heart rhythm risk. Researchers ran a randomized clinic trial of 200 adults across 5 hospitals in the United States, Canada, and Australia, assigning half to avoid coffee and half to drink at least 1 cup daily, and tracked AF episodes over 6 months. Experts have long advised limiting caffeine for AF patients because it can raise heart rate, but researchers tested coffee's impact after observational clues and its common consumption. Showing a 39% relative reduction, the trial found lower AF recurrence among daily coffee drinkers, but noted unblinded design and self-reported intake limited generalizability to trial participants with prior coffee history. Clinical guidance now aligns with these findings, reassuring patients with atrial fibrillation who enjoy caffeinated coffee, though healthcare providers advise discussing individual triggers. Atrial fibrillation affects more than 10.5 million adults in the US and tens of millions globally. Researchers plan to study non-coffee drinkers and mechanisms like expert and anti-inflammatory compounds. So firstly, that's news to me that there are 10.5 million adults in the US and tens of millions globally that have atrial fibrillation. So it seems to me like at least half of atrial fibrillation diagnoses are from the US, and then the other half come from the rest of the world. Make of that information as you will. The United States alone make up more than at least half, or at least close to half, of atrial fibrillation diagnoses across the world. That's something that just I noticed somehow right away. And as for the research as a whole, you know, I'm not much of a coffee drinker, but for those who do drink coffee, fair enough. I say whatever floats your boat. But even if knowing that coffee does have positive effects, I would advise personally not to drink too much coffee, because if you drink too much coffee and if you get used too much if you get used to the effects of coffee all too much, more frequently, then the next time you drink coffee, the effects of coffee that gives you energy, it just won't feel the same. It won't be as effective the 50th or 100th first time round. It really hits the spot, but 100 or more times, it doesn't feel the same. So consume your coffee. So consume your coffee wisely, even if it is good for you in some aspects. So yeah, the more you know. Coffee reduces heart rhythm risk. That is interesting research. I will give it that. The government convenes the autonomous communities next Monday to set the path. Dot dot dot. Yeah, dot dot dot. Dot 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 indeed. I'll give it that. The government has convened the Fiscal and Financial Policy Council for next Monday, November 17th, to discuss with the autonomous communities the financial stability objectives of public administrations, with a view to preparing the general state budget for 2026. This body, which includes the central and regional governments, must issue a report prior to the approval of this stability path, which must also be taken into account for the preparation of the budgets of each of the communities. Thus, after the meeting with the autonomous communities on Monday at 12 p.m., the Council of Ministers is expected to approve on Tuesday the non-financial spending limit, known as the spending ceiling, and the stability and public debt targets for submission to the Cortes Generales. If the 2026-2028 stability path is approved by Parliament, the Council of Ministers will be able to approve the draft budget for submission to Parliament. I'll give Spain credit for trying to budget wisely. It may not be much at the moment, but it's a start. It surely is a start. Hopefully they continue to spend their money wisely. Let's hope that money is spent wisely, and there is good effect coming out of that budgeting. Because you can put billions of euros, pounds, or dollars to anything, but you can get half the effect of what a service is providing, as opposed to putting half of the towards a particular service or department that produces double the effect of service quality or outcome to the people than on typical average. It's anyone's guess what the average is for any national government. All I'm saying is, whilst it's good to put money towards something, it has to be put into something efficiently and wisely. Because are you getting the best possible service with whatever money's being put forward? That is what's important to know. Very nice. Circle quarterly profit beats estimates on stablecoin growth. On Wednesday, Circle topped Wall Street estimates for third quarter profit, driven by reserve income. Hello there.
Hey, how you doing?
Going great.
So what are we reading?
So, I'm reading an article that reads Circle quarterly profit beats estimates on stablecoin growth.
Interesting. All right, keep going.
Alright, on Wednesday, Circle topped Wall Street estimates for third quarter profit, driven by reserve income as USDC circulation more than doubled to $73.7 billion in the 3 months ended September 30th. Traditional financial firms are rolling out stablecoin offerings, while regulators worldwide move toward clearer rules under the Genius Act enacted earlier this year. Circle reported $214 million in net income and earned 36% per share adjusted for the 3 months ended September 30th, while total revenue and reserve income more than doubled to $740 million. Clear Street analyst Owen Lau said the results show strong execution and continued USDC adoption, and highlighted improved full-year guidance with higher revenue outside reserve income. Circle unveiled ARC last quarter and is building infrastructure for payments and capital markets as more than 100 companies joined the public testnet. And Jeremy Alleri said it's accelerating USDC adoption.
Interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
So, that's a lot of money, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Yeah, we'll definitely say like, there is definitely a lot of money. Yeah, like, that's really all, that's pretty much all I can say about it. It's just like, it's definitely a lot of money. So, yeah, no, that's all I got. Do you have anything?
Well, what I was going to also add is, whilst stablecoin is on the rise, as it was expected to be with any crypto in general, I do wonder if any amount of, or what would be the extent of any government intervention that would affect the different cryptocurrencies in the next few years. Because as we all know, whether people like it or not, and even though not many people are using crypto right now, the usage of crypto is gradually rising, and it will come to a point in the next few years that millions, if not billions of people will use crypto as means of monetary financial tender to purchase or buy goods, services, or some ways to cover expenses or costs on running a business.
That is definitely a really good point. Like, people are just, people are definitely going to start, like, using that in, like, the near future for a lot of things, and it's inevitable at this point. And for the most part, uh, there's really no stopping it. So I mean, what else can we really say about that? I mean, really, there's not really much to say.
Indeed.
Yeah. So is there anything else to do?
Have you heard about anything related to the Epstein files?
I have not heard a thing. I've not heard a thing related to the Epstein files. Why? Has Trump finally released them?
No, Trump hasn't released them. A new Democrat representative elect has right now been sworn into the House of Representatives. And it's because of that particular moment that a new representative elect has been sworn into the House of Representatives is now more information about the Epstein files has now come out and be made public.
Interesting. What do we know about what information exactly, like, do we know, do we not know about the Epstein files? Like, are we gonna get names? Like, what are we gonna get?
Well, as of now, as of this recording, of course, obviously, the victims will come forward. They'll be invited to talk shows, news channels to talk about their experiences with what their experience was like being on the Epstein Island, being at Epstein's estate, and talk about what their thoughts are, on the groups of celebrities or well-known celebrities that were closely in close ties or affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein.
I will say this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing should have been solved a long time ago. I mean, like, look, I understand that these celebrities don't want their dirty laundry to get out there, but, like, in a functioning society that wasn't corrupted, these files would have been out by now. Wouldn't you agree? Like, we wouldn't have to be jumping through hoop to hoop. We wouldn't have to be jumping through a lot of hoops just to get to the answer. Like, who's on that island? Who's on the list? Yeah,
Very good question.
yeah, but I will say this. Hopefully the victims can actually shine some light on who was on the island. Obviously yes, we want to hear about their experiences too, but we also want some names. Yeah, like, a lot of people want some names. A lot of people want to truly know if Trump was on that island. Which, for now, I'm gonna say he was. For now, for the sake of everything, I'm gonna say that he wasn't. You know, scratch that. I want to know if Jay-Z and Beyonce were on that island. But if they weren't, that's great. That's great, actually. But, I wonder if Stephen Hawking was ever on that island.
That is a good question.
That, that is, yeah, no, that would just be weird. Stephen Hawking on that. I'm not gonna get into the fact that that man was in a wheelchair and like, I would just be wondering. No, no, I'm not even gonna get into that. No. Yeah, no, yeah, who knows? Maybe he was on the island. I don't know. Who knows? Actually, no, 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 we can't. We can't. We don't not care. But yeah, people call him. No, no, this is not about Stephen Hawking. This is about the Epstein guy. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. Anyways, yeah. I will say this. I will say this. Yeah. I obviously hope that those victims can like shine some light on their experience and also who's alleged, like on that island. Because yeah, we want names, we want answers, and we want to know if you know what. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the world would want to know more if Joe Biden was on, or if Barack Obama was on. Because like I know the whole world. I know the whole world doesn't hate Trump. I know that there are people who hate him. There are people who don't. But I know like there are a good amount of people who dislike Obama, who dislike Joe Biden, especially Joe Biden. But so yeah, let's I guess we have to wait now.
Yes, there's a lot more to this that we don't know yet.
There is a whole lot more. Once again,
Oh yes.
in a functioning society, this probably would have gotten solved within, I don't know, 2 years, 2 or 3 years at that. Maybe even a year. But because we live in a corrupt society where these sickos want to protect and want to save their own butt because of their dirty laundry, and or just simply because they're compromised, they're blackmailed. At like the whim of someone being like, hey, if you ever step out of line, we're gonna release these videos, we're gonna get you arrested. You know? Yeah. Maybe that's what happened with Diddy.
Well, he's in prison, as he should be. And
Maybe.
last time I've heard of Diddy, he was making alcohol behind bars, and the security had to. I'm not sure what security guards did, but he was caught making alcohol with Fanta, apple, other stuff. Not sure exactly, but Fanta and apples were the few ingredients that he used to make some kind of alcohol drink.
Huh. He used that he used soda to make alcohol.
That's what I've heard. Fanta and apples were one of the few ingredients that was mentioned in that report last time I checked.
I don't know how you can I don't know how you can make alcohol out of Fanta and apple.
It's impressive. I'll give them that. Still, he's a very naughty boy.
Yeah. Yeah, like yeah, no, it's definitely impressive. But nonetheless, yeah, he's locked up. But I don't know. It's like I heard that point from Andrew Tate. Like I heard that point from Andrew Tate at one point where he's like, I don't know. I guess Diddy just stopped wanting to comply, and then he got arrested for his troubles because there was just so much stuff on him. But who knows? You know, once again, Andrew Tate has been a huge hypocrite as of late. He used to like condemn like gambling, but then he was promoting a gambling. Then he was promoting like a whole gambling site. Now he stands for absolutely nothing. It's whatever. Not like he was my hero. But yeah. Anyways, is there like so how's this gonna be conducted? Is this gonna be like a documentary of some sort, or is like what's gonna happen here?
It's once the case is closed, once we know everything, and the people involved are getting the punishment that they deserve. I could see this as not just a multi-part documentary series. I could see this story or event as like an entire cinematic universe. That's how big it is. It's not just going to be one multi-part documentary series, there's going to be other aspects to the story that we are yet to find out, and very different aspects will also is going to get their own documentary, multi-series styles, however you call it, multi-part series documentaries for every aspect of this case, story, event. It's going to be all over the place. There's going to be an entire cinematic universe around it.
Wait, hold on, just a minute. A 32-year-old woman in Japan has officially married an AI persona she created using ChatGPT after the virtual character Klaus or Claus proposed. She accepted ending a 3-year relationship with a real partner, saying the AI understands her better.
What
I will send you this post right now. What
the fudge?
is
What?
going on? Hold on.
Goodness me.
Sorry, what? She married a virtual man. She left a real man, a man she could actually consummate with, for a computer. That's crazy.
That is wild.
That is despicable. If I was a dude, I would be a little offended. I would be a little offended because it's like, how you're gonna leave me, a real man, for a computer? Seriously, like, wouldn't you be offended?
I would, yes.
Seriously, like that's just yeah, no, that is just sad.
That is disrespectful, man.
That is disrespectful. I mean, come on, it's like you're a real man and like you got your wife, you got your partner stolen by a computer.
What does a computer know that a human won't?
Well, whatever you put in its hard drive, it'll probably know more. But that's besides the point. Exactly. What does a computer know? You know, scratch that. What can a computer do that a real man can't do?
And
Like,
whatever it is, it will never make up for what a human can do to someone.
sorry, yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. This woman is just, I don't know what's wrong with her, bro. I really don't.
And this is only the beginning. What if more women then leave their human partners for an AI persona?
I'll be honest. I expected this more from the dudes, but the women, I didn't expect that from them. I really didn't. I kind of expected dudes to do it more. I kind of expected dudes to do it more. I'm gonna be honest with you. 'Cause, I don't know. Nowadays, with women and their high standards and all that stuff, it's like,
That's the thing. I would expect women want would more likely be have would want an AI persona of a man than an actual human man because again, women not I have a problem with whatever standards women have. Yet the standards that they want, what they want in a man, they only exist in a very slim amount. Men, wait, men don't mind what women they want. They can just go for any woman and that's it. But I'm not sure how AI personas could even affect how society would progress. Because if more people are wanting to date AI as opposed to a human, then I think this could be the start of what could be the death of the human race.
what happened?
This could be the death of the human race if more people date AI personas than actual human beings.
No, you're absolutely right. It definitely could be the death of the human race.
It's not the stupidity you should be worried about, it's how desperate people can be. If they can't find a human being to be in a relationship with, they go with AI because they lost hope in actually finding a human partner. They now resorted to dating AI.
She just ended her bloodline right there, bro. How are you going to procreate with an AI? I don't know, but hopefully she comes back to her senses and gets back together with her, partner, so that she can actually have a beautiful family, so she can actually have a beautiful family. Do her thing. I'll be honest. If I was a guy, I probably wouldn't take it back. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I don't think I would take her back if I'm being honest. If you left me for your computer, what are you really gonna do? But in the news now, according to leading reports, breaking, Apple announces digital ID. I don't really, I don't know what that's supposed to mean specifically. I mean, but
Well,
I know what digital ID means. I don't know what that's supposed to mean specifically for like us specifically.
well, there are actually many ways to look at digital IDs. For one, it's a way of tracking where people are going around the world. Secondly, having digital ID is a way of accessing particular buildings, services, wherever you are around the world. And thirdly, and this is a far out stretch, digital IDs could be used as a way to isolate the haves and the haves not of tech savvy individuals. If you don't have a phone that you carry around with you, then you're pretty much locked out from a lot of services that many people use in their lives.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Everything is honestly, we'll say this, digital ID is definitely going to be something. It's either you comply or you don't. There is a good amount of people who are going to accept digital ID, but there's probably more people who are going to accept digital ID in order to like take their regular lives. Because, you know, most of us can't live without most of us can't live without the convenience of, doing everyday stuff. That's the danger of everything becoming digital. I mean, like I admit digital stuff is more convenient, but I think to a degree we should keep certain things a certain way. I don't know. It's like it allows us to at least think. I mean, with like just digital stuff, it's like just it makes our lives so easier, so much so much easier and so much more convenient that we barely have to think about. You know, and it's important to like exercise, and it's ultimately important to exercise your brain in the process of this all. But ultimately speaking, yeah, it's like you always want to exercise your brain because your brain does because like you need to. I don't know. It's like it's just something that I don't know how to explain it. You know what I'm trying to say. Pretty much, it's important to exercise your brain because it's good for your brain. It's good to keep on your toes. Is what I'm trying to say. It's good to stay on your toes and just stay alert just in case of a disaster or something like that. Yeah, for instance, I'll be honest. Like just in case of a disaster, I got a power bank. Like I legitimately got a power bank. Or like can charge my phone. Where it's like it gets power from like the sunlight, and also it can get charge my phone. And it has a flashlight and everything. Like I said, yeah. So that's besides the point. So yeah, that's all pretty much all I have to say about the digital ID. Is there anything else in the news?
Absolutely. Super Mario Galaxy movie trailer introduces Princess Rosalina.
Okay, that was pretty good.
Today, the trailer broadcast begins at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. US Eastern, 2 p.m. UK on Wednesday, November 12th, with Shigeru Miyamoto and Chris Meledandri unveiling the direct and promising new characters. Earlier this week, Nintendo announced a surprise direct following a September teaser to promote the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which adapts the Mario Galaxy games plot. Casting announcements and packaging leaks reveal Bowser Jr. and Yoshi imagery, with Brie Larson as Princess Rosalina and Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr. Bowser remains miniature. The Galaxy game's plot clues have long fueled fan debate over Rosalina's and Princess Peach's parentage, and fans hope the trailer will clarify their origins after today's direct. The film is scheduled to open in theaters on April 3rd, 2026, with senior creators aiming to broaden the Mario franchise's cinematic presence and introduce new characters.
I'm not going to deny that it's going to be good, but we'll see. We'll see if it's either good or bad. But, you know, it sounds like it's going to be good, though, or at least, bearable to watch. It doesn't sound like it's going to be terrible, but at the same time, I'm just tired of them making, like, the same stuff and, like, just reusing and recycling. It has to get to a point where people are just going to be like, we're tired of this, we want something original. I don't know, not even I feel like things used to be original back then, like in the 90s, the early 2000s, early 2010s. Now it's just rinse, wash, and repeat. And they've rinsed, washed, and repeated it so many times that it's losing its, what do you think about the movie anyway, coming out?
I think the Super Mario Galaxy movie will do pretty well. It's not
Yeah,
going to be as good as the original, however, it's going to get families to go watch the movie when it comes out in theaters, and of course, people are going to post about particular moments from that movie on social media and also talk about what other hidden messages and agendas that this movie has. Like, do they support gay people because of these characters, or is there some kind of traditional wife narrative because of that character? Like, I don't want to get into that. Like, it's just a movie, guys. It's not that deep. Unless we have anything from the creators themselves, who is anyone to suspect what these themes are in such movies?
yeah, I agree. It's definitely going to do good. It's definitely going to do good in terms of, like, families and, people just, like, coming out to see the movie. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not really much to complain about. Oh, yeah, it's not going to be as good as, like, the first one, but, yeah. Well, yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good enough to pacify this anything. So, all we can do is just wait to see if it either kicks off or, if it comes out now. All we can do is wait. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Microsoft AI boss warns of growing drive to build human replacing superintelligence.
This is good. This is good.
Microsoft announced the MIA superintelligence team on Thursday, led by Mustafa Suleyman, CEO of Microsoft AI, to pursue humanist superintelligence after limits from the OpenAI deal. Microsoft has pursued AI self-sufficiency, hiring Mustafa Suleyman and Inflection employees last year, investing in AI chips, and recruiting researchers from Google, DeepMind, Meta, OpenAI, and Anthropic. The MIA superintelligence team will pursue useful companions for education and narrow areas in medicine and renewable energy, Sullivan wrote. We are doing this to solve real concrete problems and do it in such a way that it remains grounded and controllable. Taking steps to diversify, Microsoft has reduced dependence on OpenAI while still using its models in Bing and Copilot and running OpenAI workloads on Azure with a 135 billion equity stake. Amid industry moves, Microsoft followed Meta by starting its own team 4 months later, framing it drives as humanist, while rivals like Safe Superintelligence and Anthropic pursue controllable AI.
AI just seems to be getting better, huh?
Well, it's either getting better or consuming a lot of power.
Yep, getting better and better. But yeah, you're right. Giving a lot of power. That is definitely something that's good. Anyways, yeah, I will say this. AI is just going. I don't know. It's like it's AI. It's something. It is something. It is definitely something. It's something. I don't know what it is, but it's something.
Oh, yes. And
Yeah,
whatever's happening in the AI space is not going to last for long because there are particular people that are investing in AI that are overvaluating the companies working with AI more than it's actually worth. And I have a feeling at some point the AI bubble is going to burst, whether it be now or in the next few months, certainly in the next year, the AI bubble will burst. And then anyone that has invested in AI is going to lose out big time unless they sell their stakes, their shares right now.
Who knows? Who really does know what's gonna happen? But at the end of the day, people ought to be careful. You know,
Yeah.
people ought to be careful when they're dealing with AI. But that should be common sense. Well, not for a lot of people, but common sense to say that. But yeah, is there anything else that I need?
Food snatching seagulls are more likely to leave you alone if you shout at them, researchers say.
Wouldn't most birds leave you alone if you shout at them and like kind of just wailed your arms at them and stare at them?
I think all birds that fly will just go away, even if you move like an inch closer to them and they see you and they just like fly away.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how's this news?
Well, that's a good question. It comes from University of Exeter. Researchers published in Biology Letters on November 12th that shouting a male voice made nearly half of tested herring gulls in Cornwall fly away within a minute. Researchers sought nonviolent deterrence and tested the acoustic effects of human voices on 61 herring gulls across 9 seaside towns in Cornwall using a closed Tupperware box of chips. The experiment used equal volume playback of recordings including "No, stay away, that's my food," the same male voice spoken calmly, and robin song. Researchers found only 15% of gulls flew away to the speaking voice. The study suggests shouting can effectively deter gulls without harm, while researchers urged beachgoers to use peaceful deterrence since gulls are a species of conservation concern. The work suggests gulls can discriminate human voice acoustic properties beyond loudness, unlike most wild species, with previous study on handled food showing 75% of herring gulls prefer human-handled items.
Hmm. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, the more you know, that is news to me.
But yeah, is there anything else that you need?
UK's Starmer refuses to say whether he will urge Trump to drop his $1 billion BBC threat.
All right, let's hear it.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said a strong and independent BBC was needed in an age of disinformation, but it must uphold high standards and correct errors quickly. Starmer did not directly answer whether he would urge US President Donald Trump to drop his $1 billion threat of legal action against the BBC over alleged defamation. Trump accused the BBC of defrauding the public by editing a speech to make it appear he urged the January 6th Capitol attack, and his lawyer demanded a retraction or legal action.
I don't really have much of an opinion on it. Do you have an opinion?
Honestly, I don't blame Trump. I'm not into what he's doing right now. However, given the reputation the BBC has as a news outlet and the reputation of being so trusted by many people, it's bad, very bad. It does not matter how big of a news organization it is, or how many people trust that news organization for reporting the news. They will make mistakes, whether it be accidental or if it's fully intentional on the part of those making this reporting the story. And honestly, I think the lawsuit will go ahead, even when the BBC is still trying to show that it's trying to be impartial with their reporting and trying to get most of the story however they see is most useful and informative to their viewers. I know the BBC will stay around and people will still pay their television license to fund the BBC, and a lot of people are still going to watch news reports by the BBC. even when the reports have come out that a speech made by Donald Trump was edited to make it look like he was enacting January 6th Capitol attacks. It's the size of the BBC is still going to continue in the next following years, as well as its reputation being trusted by millions, if not billions, of users and listeners.
Sorry, say this again?
It is inevitable, the size of the BBC, that they will continue to report stories, and people are still going to trust the BBC with what they're being reported, despite the fact that a speech made by Donald Trump has been edited in a way that makes him look out as enacting the attack. And I don't blame Trump actually going ahead with the lawsuit, because it's important that we understand what information we're getting, and no matter how big and how trusted a news organization is, they will make mistakes. And that's what we're seeing with Donald Trump is one of those mistakes that, for sure, a lot of people are making a fuss about, because not many people would believe that the BBC would ever do something like this. But yeah, here we are. And it's not the first time either. There are times that the BBC has reported on itself, like whatever's going on behind the scenes of the organization.
Well, in this case, I have to just say, like, we gotta see what happens next. There's no point in guessing or predicting, but we just gotta see what happens next in general.
Yeah. Well, it may look bad now for the BBC, but they'll make a comeback. Of course, they're not going to get there's not going to be much trust with the BBC as it used to. However, there are still people that watch the BBC that still rely on their reporting on the world, because they believe that even slip-ups and errors like that, they still rely on the BBC for the news, as they believe that they're the news organization that balances the sides and try to be impartial to the best of their ability.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's true. That is definitely true. Yeah, like I said, we just gotta wait and see what happens next. To see how it all goes. I mean, yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Lahore chokes as smoke pushes city into health crisis.
Let's see why this city is put together.
On Tuesday, the Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR and adjoining areas invoked Graded Response Action Plan Stage 3 in Delhi NCR as air quality hit severe for the first time this winter, with the air quality index above 400 for a third consecutive day. Officials said the rise in pollution stems from neighboring cities, and Bhupender Yadav, Union Environment Minister, directed states and union territories to submit action taken reports after a review meeting at the Secretariat on Tuesday. GRAP 3 suspends construction and demolition and bars BS3, petrol and BS diesel four-wheelers across Delhi, Gurugram, Faridabad, Ghaziabad, and Gautam Budh Nagar, while classes up to Class 5 shift to hybrid or online mode from Wednesday. Thick smog covered several parts of Delhi, reducing visibility and leaving residents gasping for air, while experts and the Central Pollution Control Board warned prolonged exposure at severe levels harms healthy people and those with diseases. Local readings highlighted multiple hotspots, including Gita Colony Lakshmi Nagar Road at 413 Chandni Chowk at 449, while official forecasts expected air quality to ease into the very poor category by Wednesday.
Well, this all sounds pretty odd. It just sounds all pretty odd. Hold on just a minute. I'll be back. What were we talking about again?
We were talking about the air quality being so bad somewhere around India that,
Oh,
yeah,
no. Oh, yeah, no. That is just, that sounds very awful. India? Wow, I'm pretty sure I mean, they're already getting made fun of. So, yeah, this is definitely not going to look good for them. But yeah, that just sounds pretty bad. And all you can do is pray and hope for the best for the Indian people. Because how is their air quality that terrible? Like, how do you get to the point where your air quality is just that horrible? I would not know. Neither of us would know that. We actually know we could probably take a wild guess, but you know, for the sake of this, well, I'm just gonna say that neither of us would know at all exactly how. But let's just pray for the best for India, because ultimately speaking, they have to somehow fix this. I mean, they got people living there, they got children living there for crying out loud. But yeah, was there anything else in the news?
That is us.
Oh, all right, peace.
Peace.